Hey, it's Joe from joecolantonio.com. In this video, I'm going to reveal what programming language you should use to learn Selenium. Check it out. I recently received the following email in my inbox. Hi Joe, I'm interested in learning Selenium under your guidance. So will you please guide me from where I should start? What language should I learn to program Selenium in? Subhash. First, thanks Subhash for your question. I get this type of email request at least once every few weeks. So in this video, I'm going to reveal what language every beginner should use to learn Selenium. And the programming language everyone should learn is, okay, are you ready? The secret is, honestly, it doesn't matter. Really, 89.2% of the concepts you learn in one programming language can be applied to another language. So the real key to learning Selenium is really just selecting a language, drawing up your sleeves, and just jumping in and doing it. So why doesn't it matter? So in Dima Kovalenko's book, Selenium Design Patterns and Best Practices, he discusses how the common Selenium command send keys translates most of the other major Selenium language bindings. So the uniformity between the different Selenium language bindings applies to most of the commands in the Selenium API. So you can see how easy it is to transfer your knowledge of one programming language approach using Selenium to another with little effort. Honestly, the general programming concepts you learn in one language can easily be applied to another. So once you learn things like program design, controlled structures, data structures, basic operations, learning another language becomes simply a matter of learning a particular syntax. So if you know what an if statement is in one language, what a for loop is in one language, you can easily apply that to another language. But which one would I recommend? So if you were to force me to name the language you should use, I would have to give you the famous and annoying reply, it depends. So some factors that might help you decide are, what language does your company currently use for its development work? So if you work in a Microsoft C# environment that everyone uses Visual Studio and C#, then maybe that's the language you should start with if your developers are open to helping you out. Java holds an advantage because it's widely used, and easily finding examples on Google to help you out when you're stuck is always a plus. One of the approaches I like is to do a job search for Selenium automation jobs near where you live. So if you go to Indeed.com or Dice.com and you do a search for Selenium automation jobs within, say, 50 miles of where you live, what is the most popular programming language requirement that comes up? If you see a pattern that 40 out of 50 want someone that knows Python, then that might be a good place to start. The cons of starting with a programming language like C# or Java is they can be overly complex and the syntax tends to be very verbose. So all languages have their pros and cons. One is not better or worse than the other. It really does depend on your situation and what you're trying to accomplish. If I was forced to choose, I personally feel that if you've never programmed before, it would probably be best to start using a script-friendly language like Python or Ruby. Using a scripting language allows you to learn to write Selenium tests with the least amount of code and in the shortest amount of time because the syntax is easier to understand and usually easier to get started with. For example, Python has always been my go-to language for beginners because it has a real gentle learning curve. It works on Windows, Linux, Mac, and it's still considered a serious programming language. So it's not like it's a toy language. It's not less than C# or Java. It's just different. It's easy to learn, but yet you could still do serious programming with it if you wanted to. So everyone has different opinions on this. If you were to ask someone like Dave Hefner, hey Dave, what language should I use to learn Selenium in? He probably would say Ruby. If you talk to someone like Al Swaggart, he probably would say Python. If you look at the comments and the posts that I have for what language you should use for Selenium, someone recommends Ruby, another person gives great reasons for Java. They're all great reasons. Everyone you talk to is going to have a great reason why you should use one language over another. So really, they're not wrong and they're actually not right. It all depends on you. So to recap, what language should you use to learn Selenium? The answer is there is no definitive answer. But hopefully this has helped you narrow down what language is right for your personal situation.